So this is a presentation from Soila on unsustainable creativity. So I'll let you just get on with it.
Thank you. And I guess that you can see my slides now. Great. All right. Yes. Hi, everyone. And welcome to this presentation. My name is Soila Lemmetty, and I came from University of Jyväskylä from the Department of Education, and my area is adult education and also leadership. And my research has focused on workplace learning and competence development, adult learning in the workplaces and so on, and also creativity in organizational context. And today I will tell you a little bit about our previous study related to sustainability and creativity. And this study was completed actually on last year, and thus it is already published. But we had an idea that we could present these findings to you before publishing the work. But as you know, this conference was postponed, so we got to publish the study before the presentation. But in any case, I think it is good to be able to still present the results and possibly discuss, for example, ideas for further research. So the title of the study and this presentation is Unsustainable Creativity, Different Manager-Employee Perspectives in the Finnish Technology Sector. So why to study creativity and sustainability? As we all know, studying and understanding creativity in this world is and will be more and more important, especially if we think about working life, organizational context. There are many kind of changes going on. We talk about digitalization, technology development, global problems, intensifying competition and also sustainable development. And it is clear that we need to be creative and actually act creatively at our workplaces almost every day that we can also survive. And at the same time, and also related to these changes, there is a strong debate in society about sustainability and sustainable development. And actually creativity has often been seen as an opportunity for sustainability. But at the same time, creativity and sustainability can also become contradictory phenomena. They may be described as opposites, especially if we think that creativity means creating something new. It often means also, or could mean also, destroying the old, which does not seem sustainable in principle. Thus, it is important to understand more better the relationship between creativity and sustainability, that we can, for example, make the different forms of creativity and their results visible. We could develop the ways to evaluate creative processes and their outcomes from a sustainability perspective. And we could prevent the unsustainable outcomes of creativity and enhance the role of creativity in the development of sustainable working life. Okay, in this study, we approached creativity as processes and as outcomes, and we see that creativity can emerge as a collective and action-based processes or individual processes. And it can be linked, for example, to problem solving or developmental processes at work. As an outcome, we saw that creativity produced usually some new, effective, and useful productions in organizations. We used 4C model of creativity as a theoretical starting point for this study. And according to that theory, big C means creativity that offers novelty value for a wide range of people, several groups of people, or even entire societies. Or it is something that produces often major and significant innovations. And in this study, we saw that little c means creativity that emerges everyday solutions and processes that are relevant to an individual or a small group of people. And in this study, our perspective on creativity was also on a sociocultural starting point. And in the analysis phase, in particular, we used the idea that the creative process outcomes or their effects are assessed not only from the individual's own perspective, but also from others, the environment or society. And it's essential in creativity to position oneself in the role of different actors and to look at phenomena by changing positions. So as I said, creativity can be seen as a positive phenomenon for sustainability, but there have been also some notions about the dark side of creativity in relation to sustainability. And if we start with the positive things, we can say that one important point in the discussions have been that creativity is a kind of tool that we should use to produce sustainable results. Even when we talk about something new in relation to creativity, we can actually many times means, for example, finding new alternatives, reorganizing the old, or putting different old elements into a new whole. And the concept of upcycling creativity is really interesting from the point of view of sustainability, and it differs from traditional recycling in that it does not modify the old, it does not add new material to it, or it does not use industrial processes to modernize the old, but it is simply a change of thought and perspective. And then some negative points. It should be first say that if we want to somehow evaluate the creativity, it would be good to examine the purposes, effects, and goals, and also the purposes of the creative actor. Some forms of creativity are associated with wasting human or material resources, and thus they are not responsible, but they produce some social or could produce some social or ecological problems. And creativity and innovation can include the idea of creative destruction when we think that we consume some natural resources when we produce something new, but however, we end up with throwing something in the trash. But in this study, our aim was to explore the managers' and employees' descriptions of creativity and its relationship with sustainability at work. And we asked how is creativity described by managers and employees working in the Finnish technology sector? What can we infer about the sustainability of creative practices from managers and employees' descriptions of creativity, and what are the similarities and differences both among and between managers and employees' descriptions when it comes to the issues above. And we had 56 interviews as a data. We conducted the interviews from 2 Finnish technology companies, and interviewees were employees and managers with different titles and positions and roles. For example, software developers and consultants and so on. And in the analysis part, we used perspectival model of creativity in the background of the analysis. So we focused on the positions, processes, and outcomes that people describe in their speech. And as an analytical method, we used thematic analysis. So what we found that managers usually looked or described creativity from the perspectives of business, society, or customers. And they saw that creativity should be something really big, like big innovations, digitalization, or continuous development in the organizations or in the society. And what was really essential in their speech was the question for whom creative work is actually done and to whom the creativity of the company has an impact. Then employees talk about creativity with thinking processes and products from the positions of customer themselves, or for example, colleagues. And in their speech, creativity was something really small, actually, daily problem solving processes or small work-based solutions. And it was essential for them to ask how relevant the process or outcome is to the customer, or how clear the process is for the team or colleague. Then interpretations of sustainability in managers and employees' creativity descriptions. We were interested about what sustainability looks like in the speech of managers and employees. And we saw that when managers talk about these high-level innovations and organizational development, they spoke strongly about digitalization and the use of technologies. And when they link digitalization to the goal of making people's life easier or make things in a digital way, the speech highlighted the need to conserve natural resources as well as increase people's well-being. But at the same time, however, the descriptions could also include some features of the process of creative destruction when they talk about the need to destroy an old practice or old products. So it was also unsustainable description. Employees strongly describe creativity as an application of old, as creative recycling from a sustainability perspective, and they were talking about looking at previous solutions from a new perspective and how or to what extent previous solutions can be applied and so on. And in addition, the employee speech emphasized the longevity of the new solutions and the consequences of the implemented outputs for colleagues or customers. So when we looked at descriptions of creativity of managers and employees, we found both similarities and differences. A clear differences between the descriptions of managers and employees could be seen in how employees saw creativity as a very small and little activity, while great innovation was emphasized in the speech of managers. However, both managers and employees saw creativity as processes or outcomes, and the differences were related to how significant these are different groups of people. Also, the interpretations related to sustainability were very different. The digitalization highlighted in the speeches of the managers could in principle seen as good for sustainability, but in practice it could also be like some kind of creative destruction, which in turn produce negative consequences from the point of view of sustainability. So what matters is whether we actually describe sustainability through goals or end results. If the end result is sustainable, but the process is somehow unsustainable, can we see that this whole project is sustainable or unsustainable? Some conclusions. We could say that focusing on sustainability necessarily requires creativity. So sustainable solutions are often creative, but every creative solutions are not sustainable. We found some partly conflicting perspectives of managers and employees, and they seem to be hidden in the actions of organizations. And from the sustainability perspective, we could say that openness and clarity in organizational interaction and communication could increase understanding in both directions. But these consistent views of managers and employees can lead to conflicts between management and employees and their expectations and goals, which can cause also problems for the performance of work and the operation of organizations more broadly. And in order to promote sustainable development, it is important to understand the perspectives that different actors attach to creativity, and to make visible what unsustainable features these perspectives of creativity can contain. Thank you very much. If you have any comments or questions or whatever, please feel free to express them. And if you're interested about this research, you can find it from here. Here is the link. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic. Does anybody have any questions about any questions before? I'm gonna. We have 1 minute, so if you do have a question, put it in. Otherwise, I might just ask you whether you were surprised by the differences that you saw then between the employees and the managers, whether you're expecting to see those differences.
Yeah, we actually expected that we will find some differences, but I think that it was interesting that how different way they actually were talking. Even they were talking about the same thing. They were talking about their work and their organizational goals and aims and operations, but at the same time they just saw things so different ways. So it was interesting. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's just sort out all the different bits.